Hey, and welcome everybody to another episode of Mac Yak, number 87. I think we're on today, right?
Yep.
First before we start, I just want to make sure that the audio sounds good because we make it 2 weeks in a row that the audio has actually not been screwed up. Yeah.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
So hopefully we're not getting an echo or anything like that. So Scarlett says audio's good.
Excellent.
Excellent. Sweet. Good.
And now
Okay.
Jay's here.
And now Jay's comes in and it makes all the noise.
What noise?
As soon as you came back, there was noise coming in it.
Well, my air purifier freaked out. Should be better now.
All right, so everybody's hearing us fine. That's a good deal. Episode number 87. Right now, guys, I just checked. We are up to 806 subs. So we have 194 to go before the giveaway. So if you guys don't know about it, we are having a 1,000 sub giveaway. So once we reach 1,000 subs, I will be giving away a 2008 MacBook, polycarbonate MacBook.
Give away something.
Yeah, something.
Come on,
I'm giving away that. I'm also Grudy's giving away a iPod Nano. Yeah. So, and my Mac is talking to me back here because it's trying to.
It's a Nano. It's a mini.
Mini. Okay, whatever. You know what I meant.
So close.
Yeah. Anyways, and Rocky's giving away a $50 Steam card. So a lot of good stuff being given away there. So we just need you guys to share this video, put it up on your Facebook group, whatever you have to do. We need the subs. We want to hit 1,000 here. I'd like to hit it before the end of the year, to be honest with you.
I like to hit it tomorrow.
Well, that would be nice.
Jay has unrealistic expectations.
And let's face it, subscribing to this channel is a gift that just keeps giving.
Yes.
Yeah, now
every Thursday.
Now, if we could get like a third of Steve or Bruce's subscribers now to
Bruce
sub to
has
us.
plenty more to spare than I do, I assure you.
A third of each. That's all we're asking.
You've got to pick it up, Steve. Come on.
I think Grudy just hit 8,000 this week.
Yeah,
let
he
him. He could spare it.
Yeah, he could spare a half. All we need is a quarter of his. Yeah. So there we go.
Maybe we need to do some Q&As.
Possibility.
Or
or work
down.
or go buy some trucks that you put a lot of money into. All right. So, what's everybody been up to this past week?
Recapping.
I know Steve's done the cursed Macintosh.
Yes.
I kind of was watching that and I was doing other stuff, and then all of a sudden I look back and it's on a old stream. I'm like, wait a second, when did he end the stream?
I know, that's the same thing.
Huh? Did you?
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there listening to him in the background, and all of a sudden I'm like, I go to it and I'm like, chat replay, and I'm like, wait, this is a different stream.
Sean's in the chat. Hello.
Yes.
Hey,
If you get
Sean.
a chance to jump onto the Action Retro channel and have a look at the, I think 3 videos he's got on this cursed SE30 thing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and speaking of subscribers, I think is beating both of us, Bruce. So.
He is.
Yeah, there you go. So
he has some great videos on that, and he did some on a beige G3, which was pretty.
So Sean, send some of your subs over our way, man.
Come on.
We've already had you on the show once. Come on.
Yeah, we
I'll
already
do it again.
did the bribe. Now you know.
Yeah, you got to pay up.
And we invite you back.
All right, guys. Let's see. Also, go take a look at Dave's Vintage Apple Tech channel. He has a neat content and a 500 sub giveaway going. What's he giving away again? Another microphone?
Another microphone.
Yep, and a laptop.
Oh,
And
a laptop.
Oh, and a
That's
laptop. Okay.
Yep.
So
It's
you guys go.
fun, but it's in really good shape.
Yeah. So go check out his channel. The next one on here we already just talked about. Steve took the cursed Macintosh. Okay.
It's no longer cursed.
Yeah. Also, check out the Mac of the Month poll on appleserialnumbersinfo.com and vote for the G4.
Vote for the 512K.
No, vote for the G4.
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 Vote for the 512K.
No, G4.
Exercise your democratic right. Vote for the 512K.
G4 all the way.
Yep. Get that G4 on there, man. So
Is it that close still? I'm going to click on it and see.
Yeah, actually, that's a good one. Let's have a look.
Let's see.
Ooh.
Right now, the 512K is in the lead again because Bruce bribed someone.
can they go and vote like numerous times, or is it just
You can select multiple things. I don't know if it's actually
no? But
accepting
What?
but can you vote more than once? Is what I'm saying.
Need to talk to the developer about that.
Who's the developer?
Theoretically, you can't. There are ways of getting around it, of course, but theoretically, you can't. Having said that, Jay watches those IP addresses like a hawk. If he starts seeing lots of votes coming in from the same IP address, gone.
Banned.
And
Hey,
Jay,
why can't I connect to your server anymore? Oh.
that was you doing that, huh? Okay.
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and let me get my stuff set up over here. We're going to go to our news and announcements now. And the first up in the order here is time to upgrade that SSD soon. So apparently, I guess there is a lot of SSD RAM is going down in price because it's an overabundance of it. So,
Yep.
so Jay, I'll let you talk about this since it looks like it's your topic.
I don't remember exactly because I put that in last week already, but that's what you just said basically. An oversupply of NAND chips. So at the end of this year, beginning of next year, they expect the prices to go down. I think 10%. Yeah,
Well,
they say
that's
10% in
that's
there,
a
but
welcome
Yeah.
change. I mean, if
Yeah.
you guys
Around
remember, it wasn't SSDs, but there was a few years ago there was some flood of a factory or whatever, a whole
Yeah,
industry.
and the prices
of
went
hard
up
drives.
because they were
And
short.
hard drive prices just went skyrocketing up, and they never really went back down as much as they.
Well,
they
why
were.
would they? Because they're like, we can make money on this now.
Yeah. But no, that's good news.
I'm hoping to score a few M-SATA cards for my older Power PC stuff.
That's that. When it's cheap enough, I'll do that. Otherwise, I play the shuffling of old SCSI drives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put the link in the chat for anyone that wants to read it. It's about a week old, maybe more. But yeah, something to look forward to.
Yep, and
Always nice when
I'm
things
gonna
are
be looking
before.
forward to that too, and hopefully get my employee discount too along with it. So
Yeah, I'll be calling you.
All right, next news item is Apple has actually won its first battle, kind of, against Epic and Fortnite. It basically, the judge said that Fortnite, basically, if you don't take it off, that pay, to bypass Apple's pay system, they have the right to ban it. However, Apple cannot ban Unreal Engine because a lot of developers out there are using Unreal Engine and it would break a whole lot of apps. So the judge said you cannot ban that, but you can ban Fortnite from.
And
that was kind of the spoiled child on Apple's part.
So
you know,
Apple
well, you
or-
want
or
to take all
Epic
your
got
toys
spanked.
away.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't they? Wasn't the thing that they were originally going to ban their developer account so that they couldn't develop?
Yeah, and
the Unreal stuff anymore?
that's why they did that, because the developer account is also the Unreal Engine, and they can't do that because a lot of developers use Unreal Engine in their games and stuff. So
Yeah, because if they're prohibited from updating that, then that's
exactly. So
stinky.
that's a little bit different there, but the Fortnite thing was upheld, and the judge upheld that and said basically you remove the code, you could probably get it back in, but as long as you're trying to bypass Apple's pay, which is in their terms of service, nope, not going to have it on there.
Now I care less about it because the Unreal Engine's saved. I care less.
Yeah. So Ryan Sands thought of ruling on a preliminary injunction. As a judge, actually, yeah, it was a preliminary, but it's actually still, like I said, it's the first battle in
This
this
is gonna be going on
tug
for
of war.
years.
Oh, it's going to go on for
Oh,
years,
yeah.
but
It's gonna drag out. Yeah.
to be honest
Me
with
trying
you,
to fix a Quadra.
I don't think Epic wants to. I don't think Epic wants to go to war with Apple because Apple's got the money, the lawyers, and they have money to throw at this lawsuit, and it's not going to go anywhere. So
Yeah.
Well, Apple might be broke soon because there's this class action going on where they have to pay everybody $2, so that might hurt their income a little.
They'll weasel their ways out of that.
What do they got to pay $2 for?
Well, slowing down the phone, I think this one is about.
Oh, because of the battery thing.
Yeah. So everybody's gonna get 55 cents. Apple's gonna say, "Oh, wait. Yep, we already made it back."
Well, you know who's making the most money? You know who made the most money of that is the lawyers that filed the class action lawsuit. So.
Yeah, if I was a lawyer, I'd definitely want Apple as my client.
Yeah.
I'd be set.
Yeah. All right. Next news item. Apple's Ping social network happened 10 years ago today. Who used it? Who forgot all about it?
I don't even remember it.
I don't even really remember it.
At all.
I remember being so confused by it because it was, all the rumor sites like, oh, it's like the next Facebook thing, but it was like all you could do was react to like music stuff. It was like you had to be on iTunes, and it was like it was clunky, it was hard to use, and it was just like there was no point of it. Like you couldn't really do anything unless and this was also at a time 10 years ago, not all the music that you listened to was on iTunes. I mean, it's still not. But it's like you had to go to like some mainstream star artist page, and you got to add their stuff to your. It was so weird. I can't even remember what the heck it was. It was just so dumb.
Yeah.
And I think they killed it like 90 days after. It didn't.
Well, wasn't
it? Didn't last.
Yeah, I tried it, but nobody else was using it. Nobody that I knew, at least. So the one thing I liked is that you could share your status is the number you're listening to.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Okay. I could do the same on MSN Messenger and iChat. It also had a status. Like, okay, what's the point?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a cute attempt.
Yeah, that and the iPod High Five. Flashes in the pan.
I think that's also about the time that Facebook was also starting up, and I think it kind of overshadowed.
I think
Ping.
Facebook
It was already there.
Yeah, it was already there, but I think all.
But it was still.
I think that was the time where you had all these other social media platforms coming up, like
MySpace.
Yeah, like well, I mean, they were all there, but they were, this 10 years ago was 2010, so they were apps were out already and stuff like that, and they were just like trying to get something on there, but like it didn't do anything new enough that it was like, oh, this is cool. It's like,
yeah,
that was weird.
Hey, who does remember MySpace? Because
I do. Jeez.
Yeah.
I think I had an account. I'm not sure if I ever used it.
Did that guy ever change his picture, the Tom or whatever his name is? Yeah.
I don't know. He sold MySpace.
I always thought that was such a weird thing of like, hey, I'm the owner of this company. You're going to add
and
me.
You're my first friend. Yeah.
Like, that's kind of weird. I don't know you. Go away.
Yeah.
By the way, can I just... I noticed that Steve's frame rate is exceptionally fast. What's going on there, Steve?
Nah.
Well, he's actually. I think it's Skype has started because everybody's like stuttering a little bit here, but I think it's Skype.
No, I'm serious. Steve is
he said
buttery smooth.
Yeah, it's because I don't have
alluding to Steve's recent upgrade.
Yes,
I know.
I'm not from the internet anymore. I got the FiOS is fast.
Yeah.
Just how fast?
Just how fast. It's actually it's funny. The upload is faster than the download, but I'm not complaining. I'm happy.
No.
Yeah, your last stream, I didn't see any issues.
0 dropped frames.
Wow.
And you were at 1080p?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I could go to 4K if I had a 4K camera.
I mean, I'm only streaming this at 6,000 kilobits per second.
That's what I had mine set at.
Yeah.
It was fine.
So
No
that's good for 1080p.
Yeah.
All right, last news item we have is Apple delays full enforcement of privacy features in iOS 14 until 2021. Who put that in and can talk about it? 'Cause
I did.
Okay.
So basically what that means is they introduced a feature where you can block ad tracking in iOS 14. And it's still going to be in there and you can still take advantage of it. But what they're doing is they're giving developers until next year to get their apps up to date because of the whole COVID thing. So instead of it all going into effect as soon as iOS 14 comes out, they're delaying for whoever needs more time to update their apps. They're letting them have until next year.
Oh, okay.
So, but good news for us is that we can still activate it for the apps that do support it when the iOS update comes out.
Cool.
Okay, that's sounds good to me. I mean, it's not a whole lot to talk about on that one, I guess.
Yeah, good to know.
All right,
Unless that's
guys.
something that people would
Yeah.
want to know.
No, actually, it's good. Yeah. To me, I just really don't care much about that stuff anymore. I mean, I'm not a developer, so.
I think I'm about 4 updates behind on my phone.
Oops.
Well, if
Yeah.
you're a user and you've got, say Facebook, obviously they're going to probably be up to date when the OS comes out. But some other smaller app, how they pay their electric bill or something like that, it's not going to be supported, and they're probably going to wonder why. And
these smaller companies that take forever to do their app updates. I just got an app update. It's a bank app or whatever. And it's like, we now added Touch ID. I'm like, how long has that feature been around? Like,
Welcome to the
It's
club.
and you're like, my phone doesn't have Touch ID anymore. It has Face ID. So
Yeah.
when are you going to add that?
we just added 3D touch support.
Our app is in color now.
we support
pinch and
GPS.
Oh, and compass.
Zoom.
All right, guys. So first topic of the night: optical media. Does anyone still use optical media for day-to-day stuff?
It sounds more like an eep quack to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I will eep on that too.
There's a lot of people. Like 10 years ago, people were saying zip. Who uses zip or floppy drive? Or people start ridiculing the older technologies because something better or flashier or fancier is out. But I put that in there because I have, including the one built into my Mac Pro, I have 2 Blu-ray burners set up because that's how many discs I burn for backing up data and stuff like that. So I'm curious who else still uses it and what do they use it for.
That's just a cost per megabyte thing. So I don't use that for backup and obviously transferring files. I use it's like USB sticks and stuff like that. So, but you're using Blu-ray media for actually backing up data. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Which I mean, it makes sense. It's a very, very cheap way to store a fair amount of data on each of those disks.
I mean, right now I don't know of a better medium to do long-term backups on. So I don't know if anything newer than Blu-ray is out. Not that I'm aware of, but putting 100 or 50 gigs on a disc, it's pretty convenient.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know. I haven't been following it too much, but I know that originally they were looking at these 100 gig and then 150 or 120 gig discs and stuff. I have a stack of 25 gigs that I'm still using, but I mean it's a great way to back up stuff because it's a non-moving, non-volatile thing. It's a copy of something. So it's
who was it last week that said they had some discs from the early 2000s that were already starting to go bad, like
that was
CDs?
Jay. Yeah.
I had one disc that it doesn't have disk rot, but it was unable to read most of the data. I had to reburn that.
Do you think
How
that
long
was
of course,
CDs
like
supposed to last?
Ryan says, movies, DVDs, that counts as well. Do you like to collect your movies on DVD?
Yeah.
Do you prefer to have a
I do.
digital on Plex?
Yeah.
I
Like having
have
both.
I have digital on Plex, but I also have physical. I do like to go and buy a physical movie. Blu-ray.
What?
I know Steve is all about the laser disc, which he's probably grabbing right now.
I was just going to grab one of mine, but go ahead.
Wait for it.
Wait. He doesn't have his weight screen on,
Quick, everybody see how much they can identify in the background of Steve's.
Hold on.
Count IMAX. I see 4, 5. He's back, and let's see it. There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Big ass.
So here is my spindle of discs that I have, different installers, all kind of stuff. I mean, the very first disc on here is OS X Tiger, so
Yeah. I have a spindle of discs that I bought, blank ones. I know, probably 15 years ago, and there's still probably 100 left.
It won't go in. So what does that sound like when you stick that on your record player?
It sounds like. No, but I'm the same way with Bruce. I do have a lot of digital copies, but I do have a fair amount of optical media, so Blu-ray discs and a handful of 4K discs, but mostly Blu-ray discs and DVDs because
You know you're a nerd if you go and rip laser discs to digital.
I will not tell you how many are on my hard drive, but I will tell you that raw DV footage is about 13 gigabytes an hour, and it adds up very quick.
Well, to be honest with you, the Mac that's sitting right back here behind me is the last one. Oh, actually not the last one, but one of the ones that's the thick iMacs with the DVD drive on it. So I keep that one around just for those purposes.
I mean, I think the main purpose of using like CD media, optical media for me is the transition between the modern Macs and the vintage Macs. So obviously, given the fact that I have all these old Macs that have CD drives in them, it's a way of running installers or getting large files across nice and easily. So that's probably the main purpose I use optical media for these days.
Yeah, I think that the most of the time when I'm burning optical media, it's either backing up something or if it's transferring it to a vintage system. As far as not computer usage, I use it in my home theater a lot still. But I really, I thought I'd be burning more discs. I just have to get around to it. But I don't see that as something that's going to be changing anytime soon because although flash memory prices are stupid cheap, I mean, you can get a 128 gig SD card for like $12. I
It's
wouldn't
about to get cheaper.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I'm not necessarily going to trust that. I mean, it would be very easy for me to just spend $100 and have like almost a terabyte or a terabyte and a half of flash memory. But how well is that memory going to last? I mean, especially these cheapo cards. I don't know. I have a little drawer here of SD cards, and they still work, but I don't know how reliable I'd want to, be on that format since it is relatively new and unknown. Whereas the optical media, it's like, all right, well, we know how Blu-ray has been out since 2008 or whatever. The drives are there. We know some statistics about the media, but yeah, that's just something to think about, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
We've got a few people in the chat that use optical as well, or older vintage computering, says Sean. A lot of movie and entertainment stuff. But
and that's the thing too. If you have a preference of certain movies or TV shows or whatever, a lot of these streaming services will take things down, and so my wife will say, "Oh, let's watch this," and then when we finally get around to watching it, it's not there anymore. And it's like, "Oh wait, I have I have the videotape or I have the DVD of it or whatever. Like, we'll just watch it. I don't care. It'll look fine, But owning physical media is something that's like, okay, I have this thing. I could watch it whenever I want. I could do whatever I want with it. Not, oh, I own it in some digital store. Oh, wait, Ultraviolet's going away? Oh, wait, they took this down? Yeah. Oh, wait, it's... I mean, that's a whole other discussion, but
I was going to say that sort of becomes the streaming versus downloading argument, and I'm with you there, Steve, totally. I agree with that.
Yep.
I prefer downloading as well, or copying stuff I already have, because, going back to when the internet was brand new, everything it was just a fountain of creation. And the last few years, we started entering into this time where stuff is being removed or buried or censored, however you want to say it. Stuff is disappearing offline. And if I want to keep something, I want a physical copy. I want it on a hard drive, on a Blu-ray or something.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is, again, with this becoming a completely different argument. So I definitely won't dwell on it. But just because something is no longer politically correct doesn't necessarily mean it should be erased from ever existing.
Yeah.
You can look at those sorts of things and acknowledge that they might be using fairly outdated concepts or, whatever the case may be. But it doesn't mean that they should never, ever be seen again. I mean, that kind of...
Hey, how do you learn from something if it's not...
Right.
There,
Yeah.
you ignore the existence of something.
Not in the history of ever anything has stuff been deleted, removed, and changed as much as the
Yeah.
past year with this cancel culture stuff going on, and it's scary. So
And it's,
if I want
you know,
something, or as soon as I read about something being canceled or removed, I go out and find it as fast as I can in case I want to watch it or check it out sometime.
yeah, I mean, it's one step away from people walking into galleries and pulling paintings off the wall. I mean, it is, for me, it's a real worry. There's a TV
Blowing
show
up
that I grew up
statues.
with. Yeah, I mean, there's a TV show that I grew up with when I was younger called The Goodies. It's a British show, and it's very, very silly. And, you know, and to watch it today, it's quite offensive. And as soon as all this stuff happened, I went out and I bought the box set straight away because I thought this series is going to end up getting buried. And I don't want to lose those memories. You know, I mean, I don't look at it and think, oh, I want to base my life on those concepts or anything like that.
Right.
But I don't want it to be erased from existence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can walk into the Louvre and pull down the Mona Lisa because that room is so big and the painting is so small you can't see it from the doorway anyway.
Yeah, I've got a picture. I've got a picture of it where I'm standing in the doorway and you see the thing surrounding it. No problem. The picture looks like a little tiny.
You're in
postage stamp.
line for 2 hours, and then you get to the room and you discover that the room is a mile long and still full of people, and you're like, screw this. Click. Go.
Yeah.
That's exactly what me and my wife did. It wasn't that crowded, thankfully, but there was still, it was, you know, a thickness of this huge puddle of people, and we just like weaved our way through. All right, click, and then left.
Yeah.
You need that 10x optical zoom or the telephoto lens. You know.
Yeah, I think back then it was just me and my Nokia phone or something. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
From optical media to the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
There we go.
We
That's what
traveled
we do.
around here.
Whose
All
camera
right.
just turned off?
No, that was Bruce's. It's something has to do with Skype. It's not him because I still see him here on Skype, but it's
It's happened to me.
it's translating over. I just sent you guys a video on the chat showing how it's looking on my screen. It's the only window that's doing that weird flickering, which is.
Bruce always
I
causing
think your
problems.
computer is going to catch fire
Yes,
here.
I
in
mean,
a
I
second.
think his internet connection is being cancelled. That's what's
No.
happening right now.
No.
I've got absolutely no issue here in Skype. I mean,
No, it's not.
showing
It's-
Skype is
beautifully,
100%. Yeah.
But
It's
when I look
Skype
across
on
at,
my end. I did an update today. You guys do an update today?
No.
No.
That's probably why. Yeah. And now he's froze. All right, guys.
Screenshot.
Well,
Okay.
I just want to say if there's a better thing than optical media for backup and long-term storage, I'd love to know about it. But unless you're all going to go out and buy LTO-8 tape backup drives and burn a hole in your wallet.
Well, any kind of magnetic media, I don't really trust for long-term storage. I mean, you can put massive amounts of data on tape, but I don't trust tape.
Well, I mean,
Hard drives.
If it's a tried and true trusted method, I put a little more trust in it. But I personally have not dealt with tape. I know that is the primary method for movie studios and things like that to store their content on. There was actually a very good article I had to find that talked about you know they have these generations of tape and the cost of keep moving it to the next generation so that the future drives can read it and everything. But apparently that's what they do. But they use like 3 or 4 copies of the same thing. So nothing that us mere mortals can afford. But
Yeah. All right. Before we go anywhere, guys, before we get to our next topic, I'm going to try to restart Skype. We're not going to. The video is still going to be going fine. You're just going to lose all our video for a second. I'm going to restart Skype and bring it back up and see if we can fix this problem because I noticed the video on the actual broadcast is starting to flake out. Bruce's is actually going black a few times, so I want to fix
fiber
this.
is not the answer to everything, Steve.
No, this is not fiber. This is actually an app issue on here because all my other apps
doing
are
better
fine.
on his Wi-Fi.
All right, so stand by, guys. We'll be right back. The screen, you'll still see us all on there, except you'll see us all froze. So I'll be right back. All right,
it looks
let's
like we're all taking a crap.
let's see if this will
Meantime.
fix it. And
Everybody's laughing at our faces.
why is mine now not showing
yeah,
up?
yours is
That's
going
okay.
weird.
We don't need to see you, but you're blocking half of my screen. Move out the way.
All right, hold on a second. Let me. This is weird. This is why I hate Skype sometimes, but you know what? We got to deal with it. All right, guess what? Skype is starting to really irritate me. So we're gonna do this.
Starting to.
Yeah.
Man, we did so good for 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, do you reckon?
I'm just glad I'm not hosting this one.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull up my camera here, and now you should be able to hear me at least. But
well.
yeah.
Just put up a stick figure.
Gee, this never would have happened if you backed it up on optical media.
You got to pay for Zoom. Zoom ain't free.
Really?
No, it's not.
Ah.
You didn't know that?
GT sounds like a robot.
Yeah.
Do I?
Comment there. Why
That's
not
his normal
use,
voice.
Use Zoom. It's like, no. No.
You want to pay for it for us? Sure.
I should have left
I'm not
well
gonna
enough
put it on my
alone,
Christmas
but
sheet.
all right. So I am a black screen right now because I can't get my camera to come up.
Dun dun dun. We tried turning it off and on again.
That's what I'm working on now.
Zoom has a free version, but it has a 1 hour limit, I think. Okay,
We
so
burned
Mac
through
Yak is
that.
going to be 1 hour from now on.
Yeah.
We'll use Zoom.
We'll have to talk really fast and not go off topic.
People be checking their YouTube playback speed. Like, what? It's not
Yeah.
2.
Come on, Dana, do your Jimmy Stewart.
Well, turn this thing around.
All right, let's try this one more time. I'm gonna start
How would
Skype.
Arnold say
All
it?
the
What I'm
kids in
wondering.
chat go like, "Who the hell is
Be
Jimmy
right back.
Stewart?"
They'll recognize Arnold.
Buy the floppy disk.
Which we are running this stream off of.
You have a separate
it.
one? Try?
Yeah. Drop it and punt.
Can they still hear us?
I think so.
Right. I don't want to.
They can hear us now. All right.
What are we on?
All right.
Topic 2? Yeah. Topic 2.
All right, topic 2.
Now,
All right, topic 2. Do we have a overlay? Yeah, we do. Cool. Blue light filters on your screen. So for newer Macs or Mac OS and iOS, that would be what's it called again? Night shift, where it kind of makes your screen a little orange tint. And for the Mac, there's also an app called f.lux.
Flux.
Do any of you guys use it?
I use night shift every once in a while. Like if a room is completely dark and if I have a headache or something like that, or just night shift actually is pleasing on the eyes, as long as there's no other light around. Otherwise, you're like, why is everything yellow?
I think I have that turned on by default. I have it turned on my work machine also, and I used to do that because sometimes I'd be working late, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, "Why is everything yellow? Oh, time to go home." You know, just like a subtle reminder.
I mean, I think one of the the reasons why all of these things started was, people lying in bed staring at their screens and stuff, and it was disrupting people's ability to sleep. So the idea is that that the blue light is meant to trick your brain into thinking that there's sunlight out there and all that sort of stuff, and then you're awake, and then as it gets later at night, that blue light's meant to go away. You meant to be having sort of that warmer light, and that'll help you sleep. I really don't have trouble sleeping at all. At all.
No.
And so I've
You just
never
put on a
bothered.
long stream and just nod off.
Yes.
Just watch one of Steve's streams and you'll nod off too.
I've
Hey,
never
now I see,
bothered with
Greg.
any of those sort of night light color thingies. I've never had an issue with blue light, so I just don't care.
It works too well for me. I have it installed on every Mac, including PowerPC. Flux has been around for a very long time. That's where Apple stole it from, and their implementation isn't even as good as Flux. Or F.Lux. Flux just sounds better. But I use it everywhere, but on my main machine, I disable it often because it works too well. If I have it on, come 11 p.m., I'm in my chair like this, drooling all over myself. I need to turn it off to stay awake.
11.
And
Like
I never
4.
have issues with sleeping either, but if I don't use it, I'll just happily keep going till 6 a.m. and then I'm so tired that I'll collapse even in full sunlight. So, but it definitely works. And
Well, Jay,
on my phone.
you're a vampire anyway, so you know.
Do that. Yep.
Yeah, I don't usually use it on the desktop, but I do use it on the phone because sometimes it will be at night and I will be on my phone, and even at the lowest brightness setting, it's too bright sometimes. So turning that on sometimes helps that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never use it on the desktop either. Just the phone. I don't think I've ever used it on the iPad either.
And like Sadmac said, my phone has it too, just called something different. It's probably one of those Android things. But yeah, it's, I'm sure Android and Linux and all this stuff has
Something
versions
similar.
too. But
One of those Sam phones.
have
But
any of you
this-
ever used one of those physical screens that you put on your LCD or your monitor?
You know, they
I
actually
have one. I never used it. It's a 4x3 aspect one though.
The
Well,
anti-glare thing?
they also sell glasses too that do the same
Yeah.
thing. In fact, I was looking today, and guess what? Best Buy had some of those too to sell. You know, the computer monitor glasses.
Thankfully, I've never had a need for those, but I do have some friends who use them and swear by them.
I mean, it's kind of a solution to a problem that shouldn't really exist. I mean, we should just be spending less time looking at screens. Let's face it.
Stop
Yeah,
making
just-
sense.
Hey,
now
hey,
that
hey,
listening, we
hey!
might.
That's silly talk.
No, we all need to just get a big CRT. It's much easier on the eyes. There you go. The problem solved.
Ooh.
A luscious
Sorry, I just saw-
1024 by 768 pixels.
I just saw Steve's little radar picture there. Ooh, my
Yes,
goodness.
I'm looking out this window here and I'm seeing lightning every once in a while. So
Yeah.
if I go mysteriously missing, you know why.
We know that you
Yeah.
haven't replaced the batteries.
All the
No,
cool weather.
The internet will stay on my computer long.
I'm jealous. They've been predicting rain here for 3 days now, and I haven't gotten anything.
Hey, come here and get some.
Yeah, you come here and
I
get some
wish.
too, because I've been getting a lot of it too, and I'm not too far from Steve, so pretty much everything Steve gets, I've already had.
Oh, it's all your used weather. Ugh.
That's right. You get all the used stuff, man. All right, so next topic 3. This is something Steve put in here. The 7th gen iPod Nano is now considered vintage by Apple. So
Well,
is there?
yeah,
Go ahead.
A quick footnote for that. It will be considered soon, according to Mac rumors, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Sorry, Greg.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So, with that said, is there no room for a multimedia-only device in the age of the iPhone? And my answer is yes. Okay, and the reason why I say that because, for instance, in my car, okay, I have multimedia inputs in there where I can bring in my iPod or whatnot, and it'll actually connect up to an iPod no problem. So I have some of these older iPods that I connect to it USB, and I can listen to my music on the radio itself. Who's echoing now?
That's
Here.
Oh.
I'm not even talking.
The person without headphones.
it's got to be
Yeah.
it's got to be Jay because he's the only one not using headphones.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
So, but anyways, so that's what I use it for. I use the older iPod to listen to music in my vehicle, and it shows with the little album art and everything on the screen. So it
But
works
you can
out.
do that with a phone, can't you?
You can do it with the phone too, but I always I have my whole music collection on one iPod. I just stick it in my console there, and it stays connected the whole time. So it's like a pretty much it stays in there. I don't.
Yeah, the only problem I have with that is you know, if you're driving and you get a call, you know, not at least my car is too old, it will just keep playing the music. The
No,
phone
actually,
won't interrupt it.
no, mine won't. Mine because mine is that my phone is actually Bluetooth to my vehicle. It will actually stop the music
Mm.
playing and pause it and go to the phone call.
Mine's supposed to, it just doesn't always do
I mean,
that.
Well, you drive a
the-
Prius. Come on.
No, it's the stereo that's in there. It's like 2005 Bluetooth
My-
1.0.
my wife and I drive the same vehicle, and when she hops into the car, it links to her phone and she listens to her music. And then if I hop into the car, it links to my phone and it plays my music. So that is a really, really nice arrangement. So the idea of actually having a device in there playing music all the time means it's just one person's music. You know what I mean? So
True.
um,
And if
But-
you both get in the car, there's a huge fight.
it's whoever's driving, driver's choice.
Ah,
Whoever's Bluetooth connects first.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there's still a use, like I don't know if it's a need or a use or a desire, whatever you want to call it, where especially people that do a lot of exercising, phones have gotten bigger over the last several years. And you know, it's one thing to carry an iPhone 4 or an iPhone 6 around in your pocket and when you run or something like that, but I think it's always been, I mean, obviously I'm no expert, but I think the people kind of appreciate the option of having an iPod Shuffle or a nano-sized media player that's really lightweight. And oh yeah, even a watch. You know, you could use the watch as a media player as long as you can store the information on it or
Well, you can
stream
now. I
it
mean,
if you,
yeah.
yeah. So I think there's still a call for it.
I think
I
that-
haven't been able to bring myself to throw any of my iPods away. I have them here, but the fact is, I really don't use them anymore. I don't want to get rid of them. I don't necessarily want to admit to myself that I don't use them anymore, but I don't use them anymore.
What happens when you go out running?
You know the funny thing about that, Bruce. The funny thing about that, and this is one of the reasons why I think that they're still valid, because I just sent an older one, an iPod Nano, to my granddaughter. She's 10 years old, not old enough to actually have a phone, but she's listening to music and stuff now. So, you know, kids and stuff, you don't want them to have a cell phone at that age.
yeah, or an internet connected device. Yeah.
Exactly. So having that iPod Nano that I sent her, it's not internet connected, nothing's connected, but she can load music up on it and she can listen to her heart's content. And the cool thing about that is her mom can control what music is on there because it's not internet connected. It has to go through her computer.
No
So
Cardi
she-
B.
Huh?
No
Yeah.
Cardi B.
Nope.
Yep.
So
And also, you know, it's one of these things where it's not a $1,500 phone that your kid drops or breaks or loses.
there you go. Yep.
You know, it's something that's a hand me down or it's an older device. And let's face it, MP3 players are a dime a dozen these days. I mean, you could get no name brand ones for under $10 and stick an SD card in there and have hours and hours of music in there. But I mean, I'm glad that the iPod Touch is still there, and Apple seems to be begrudgingly updating it every once in a while. But you know, it's the cheaper alternative to buying a phone with a contract, and you're paying for the internet fee and the cell phone fee and all that stuff. And for people that, let's say, you have, you know, an office phone, maybe you don't need the newest cell phone, but you want something to like Dana said, take something that's maybe smaller or lightweight. Doesn't have to be an Apple one; it could be any one. I actually have not used the music feature on my watch, but I mean that's something I guess I could do if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
I think
do-
they're all pretty valid points. Yeah.
Yeah, I do miss using my old iPod. I had to replace the battery in it. I actually have been using it. I mean, being cooped up in the house, I have an old iPod Hi-Fi. Just stick it in there, all the music's on there, and just let it play for a while. But
But I mean, it's really nice to have that option, you know. And like Steve said, you know, it's good that Apple's begrudgingly updating it every once in a while. But I think for younger kids, it's a good option. And for the fact that Steve just said, you got a $150 iPod versus a $1,000 phone. You know.
Yeah. What are you going to trust your clumsy kid with?
And I mean, I've got one of those original white iPod Nanos, the ones that just look like a big memory stick sort of thing.
Mhm.
Those things are bulletproof. I mean, you could give those to, I don't know, sort of a little toddler or something to play with. They wouldn't be able to break it.
I like to use those as
they
Unless they
figure-
dropped it into the toilet or something like that.
Yeah. They'll figure a way to do that.
No, the Shuffle. Yeah, I think that's what it was called. Was that the Shuffle? That was the little white one? Yeah.
The little one with it just had like a little button on it. That's all
It was
it had.
so useless as an iPod that I just used it as a flash drive.
Well, see, back in the olden days when I used to actually exercise, they was fantastic in the gym because I mean it just weighed next to nothing. Just listen to music while I'm exercising. It was excellent.
Yeah, but I have my playlist set up, especially the ones for working out that I haven't used in a while. But I have it set up, it starts off easy, warm up, and then and it builds up. And shuffle, it just doesn't work for me. I've never used it. It's a button I've used on a CD player. It's a button that I've never used on my mini disc, my Discman. Well, no, yeah, Discman had one. Walkman didn't, but if it did, I wouldn't have used it. I don't use it on iTunes. I don't use it. I hate
I like shuffling, so there.
I don't care.
I mean, the shuffle didn't have to shuffle. I mean, you could play music in order.
Yep. There is a switch for it.
Yes, that's right.
Never gave it enough of a chance to figure that one out.
Jake's like, we're behind him.
Yep. All right. Anything else on this before we move on, or?
No, I just think there's still a market for it, so I'm glad
I
that
do too,
people still make it.
Same here.
I don't see a market for it.
Jay, you're the minority in this group right now. So.
What? I don't need it. I got my phone. I wouldn't give it to a kid because it's nothing new that for the last 30 years kids have been damaging their ears with headphones playing stuff way too loud. So I wouldn't promote this to a kid.
And that's the thing about the beauty about the iPod too, is that there's a setting in there where you could set it to not play so loud.
Yeah, because so many parents go in there and do that.
Well, you would probably do that, right? If you gave one to Jacob, you'd do it, right?
Jacob doesn't even know what headphones are.
I had a cassette player that was my first Sony or whatever. Crazy
the blue
color.
and yeah.
No, mine was like red and I forget what other colors were. But there's a little switch under the battery compartment with the screwdriver that was turned on by default. That was the volume limiter. What good it did me.
Yeah.
What?
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here. I think we're running pretty good, actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, next topic is, I got two different questions here. I'm going to ask the first one. So, you answer the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay? You can only keep one desktop Mac. Which one do you keep?
Now, are we going to define this as what you already own?
Nope.
Or
nope.
Of
Jay already said anything that Apple makes. It has to be an Apple too, not a PC.
2019 Mac Pro.
Yeah.
Max.
Might as well get the most powerful one.
I was going to say the same thing. The new Mac Pro, the 7,1. You know.
I don't got to pay for it. Sure.
Yeah. But if it has to be something I have currently, it would be my 5,1. So.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. We got a couple people saying iMac G4 Cube.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can do all your daily activities on a cube, more power to you. But
yeah. We need you on the Power PC challenge.
Justin says 4, oh, he retracted it. Never mind, didn't happen.
I mean, I guess what it comes down to is, are we talking about a computer that you really want to have in your possession, or are we talking about a computer that is a computer that you need to use on a daily basis?
No,
okay.
Your entire collection right now, whether you have 5 or 500, all of it goes poof.
Oh.
Which
in 30 seconds from now. So
and
in
you have to
those
pick
30
one.
seconds, you have to decide which Mac are you going to keep.
Mac Pro.
Desktop, that is. We're talking about desktop.
The problem I have with that question...
just answer.
Hear me out. If I'm going to stay employed, the answer needs to be my classic Mac Pro, of course.
Yeah.
What?
But if it comes to something that I'm really happy about having in my collection, then it would have to be something else.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
But you have to stay employed, so
so it's got to be my
Yeah.
classic
there
Mac
you
Pro.
go. Now the same thing goes for the laptop. 30
Okay.
seconds from now, everything goes poof. You get to keep one laptop. What's it going to
Make
be?
it less portable.
Oh, it's got to be the
If-
2015, so the 15-inch 2011 for sure.
Mine would be in my collection my 2010 15-inch
Yeah, that's
MacBook Pro.
My
I think-
baby
Well,
And
laptop.
anyone
I
that
have-
says MacBook Air is disqualified.
Somebody already said it. Sorry.
I think like a 17-inch 2010 is the way to go.
I'd go with the 15-inch 2012.
But you already have to own it. So you already own that one, correct?
Oh,
Who made up that
We're
rule?
changing the
You can't
rules
just
again.
make stuff
You
up
just
like
said that. You said that with the first one.
I'm signing off. Bye. Yeah.
You said, Jay, you said that with the first one. Your collection, in your collection.
No,
If it goes
he was
poof.
saying that no matter what you pick, your entire collection goes bye bye.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's the only laptop you're ever gonna have. What's it gonna be?
Well, then I would change my mind to take the newest MacBook Pro, which is a 16-inch MacBook Pro, the 2019.
Clamshell.
I still stick with the 2012.
Yeah,
Because
I guess to
well-
some extent, with these rules ultimately being that you can have anything that you want, if you're able to go with the absolute highest spec thing that Apple make today, with all the RAM and all the storage and all that sort of stuff, because it's not upgradable, but if you're buying it absolutely maxed out, because you're not necessarily going to have that option.
So you're happy there with your 16-inch 2019, 2020, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm here with my measly 2012 i7. And 6 months from now, your screen is going to fall apart because of the delamination issue. Then what? That's a
So
wrong
I mean,
choice.
if we're living in a fantasy world here, I'm gonna have my iBook duct taped to the back of a 17-inch MacBook Pro that doesn't exist, and we'll go with that.
He's gonna take the 17-inch screen and slam it on his clamshell.
I need HFS write support. So there you go.
And
So that's
finally, one phone. All right, let's limit this because y'all going a little bit crazy. Out of all the phones you've owned to date, whether you still have them or not, doesn't matter. Which iPhone would you keep?
Current one.
Current one? My current one I have right now.
It has to be the current one.
The 10s Max.
I want to
Yep.
go with the original iPhone. No.
I don't know. I would love to keep a 4S or a SE. SE.
Yeah, they're a lovely size, aren't they? They just feel great in the hand, those ones.
Yeah.
But I think if it comes down to practical use as well, I'm still on an iPhone 7 and it's good.
Well, Distro Hopper makes a good point too. iPhone 8 was a good one also. That was probably the last one that they made with Touch ID. So,
Yeah, but he also said MacBook Air for laptop, so I can't take him too
Yeah,
serious.
but the SE the new SE is basically an iPhone 8 with a better processor and a better camera.
Yeah, it's too big. I mean, the original SE, the 2015, I think it was.
Yeah, you like the smaller screen, but the
Yes.
yeah.
I put a case on it anyway. It adds bulk to it, but I mean, I no problems with the one I have.
Yeah, but even if it adds
Ever
bulk
since
to,
I got the new battery, it's not lagging for like 120 seconds in a row anymore. So I'm happy.
You counted?
Yeah, it was like the network timeout of like connecting to a server. That's why I'm like, this waiting time seems familiar. I'm like, oh. Yeah.
All right. So we done with this topic now, or
Yes, please.
as Dana's like, I'm done. Stick a fork in me.
Bruce would say it's stupid.
All right, next topic tonight. A lot of us do repairs here, especially Bruce, Jay, and Steve here. I've been doing a lot of repairs. I know myself, I do some repairs. I know Dana does some. Just keep Dana away from pliers. That's and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
They're not on my desk right now. I don't know
Yeah.
where they went.
which spare parts do you keep on hand, if any? And we're not talking about recovery or installer drives or anything like that. Actual spare parts.
All these.
Yeah.
Steve's like, look around.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I've got a bunch of spare parts. I've got tons of hard drives. Uh, I've got a logic board for a 1,1 that's been flashed to 2,1. If anybody wants to buy that from me, hint hint. I also I have a power supply.
Give you a book for
Yeah,
it.
I have a power supply for a 1,1. Other than that, I mean, I do have parts, and and if I do need parts, I always if something breaks that I don't have, I just order it off of Amazon and have it in a couple days, and it works out.
Mm.
And I know Jay has tons of donor boards, so I know
Jay has a lot of dead G4
Yeah, just
processors.
look at Jay's wall behind him.
Got a lot of cables.
The other side.
No, I mean these are all dead boards, but I
But
have.
you can take components off them if you need to.
Yes, I don't really consider those spare parts. Over the course of a year and a half, 2 years, I have collected enough components where I can fix any of the Mac Pro in this house, 4,1 or 5,1. I got spare power supplies, backplane boards, CPU trays, fans, RAM, everything. So if something breaks, and these are the money makers. If my wife's iMac breaks, I got a spare board for that. Spare fan. I don't have a spare LCD because those things are pricey as hell. But if she needs to, I can give her
External monitor.
a 12-core Mac Pro, have her up and running in no time. So for the essential machines in this house that earn our living, I have enough spare parts to probably build 3 or 4 of them. Everything else is just, junk. Yeah, if I need a trackpad cable, I probably got one. If I need a hard drive, I probably got one. Those are the boxes with parts that I really find essential.
yes, I think hard drives are a very essential spare part because if you don't have that, I mean, yes, SSDs are the way of the future and stuff, but some of these older Macs to get them up and running, just putting a hard drive in there just to get an operating system to make sure it works is the quickest way to go. Why?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
these cables too are getting hard to find, so never hurts to stock up.
In fact, it's funny about when you mention that because I've actually bought a bunch of cables from Best Buy where I work at just so I have spare cables and stuff like that. So I have a bunch of boxes of them sitting in here, especially the 30-pin connectors, the old iPod, iPhone connector cables, because those are getting harder to find. So when those go bad, I've got a bunch of spares. So
Thankfully, I'm sure there's a warehouse somewhere just full of them.
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of all the third parties that were just churning those out like clockwork.
Yep. So
I keep a lot of spare peripherals. Oh, I do see Bruce's picture
yeah,
going black.
it's
That's weird.
it's not OBS. It's Skype. It's still doing it.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
keep-
dark
I keep,
where here,
um,
that's all.
I keep CD burners, zip drives, a lot of external media, and then your hard drives and your extra RAM. Anytime I upgrade the RAM in a machine, I keep the old RAM just in case I need to test something or something goes bad with the new RAM that I just bought.
I have 2 drawers full of RAM back here, both laptop and desktop RAM, all different kinds.
I saw a guy on Facebook that was selling 2 totes. I mean, the big plastic totes like this, and they were so full of RAM it was at the top, and I was like, I feel bad for whatever's on the bottom of that thing.
There's probably a lot of probably a lot of busted RAM.
Oh, I'm sure most of it was probably bad. Rubbing against each other and friction and static and God knows what else.
Well, not only that, but knocking off some of the components on the bottom because you got all that weight.
Mm-hmm.
We got a
Well, you
few
don't need
people in
all
the chat. Justin says spare modules and SSDs. Now he has room for more spare parts, so that's going to escalate. Sad Mac, miscellaneous parts for dead, decommissioned PCs, RAM, hard drives, that kind of thing. Scott has enough to build an extra LC in case anything goes bad. I do have a lot of dead G4 processor cards. That is true. Actually, I fixed most of them. They're not all dead anymore.
You call that a bin of cables?
No, that's not just cable. Those are not cables. That's all power supplies and stuff. All different.
You call that a bin of?
That's just one. That's just one.
I cannot count the amount of boxes I have that are labeled cables.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
I just stopped.
My buddy in the live chat there, my buddy Burnsy, says the amount of spare computer parts you have lying around will depend greatly on whether you're married or not.
That is true.
Or if you have a basement. If I didn't have a basement, I'd be divorced already.
Or a garage, right?
No comment.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, you have to sneak those in, like those servers, right?
No, we have an understanding now. As long as I don't tell her about it, it's cool.
So, in other words, you got to sneak them in.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I mean, it's getting Bruce and I were having conversations about parts, and it's just like for some of these machines, especially the ones that Bruce and I tend to fix, things could go bad. Components, sound chips, these little connectors that they don't make anymore. I had somebody contact me recently, and they said, "Oh, I have an SC30. I want you to, recap the logic board, but I really want you to replace the memory slots on that." I'm like, well, good luck finding the part for that, man. If I had the source, I'd let you know. But I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing. You sort of, when you're in this fever that we all are in with these vintage computers, at least most of us, you sort of grab what you can and just sort of hold on to it, because I know the second I give away like a spare video card or something like that,
you're going to need it.
One I have is going to break, and I'm going to have to go hunt for it.
Well, speaking of video cards, I actually do have a lot of GPUs in a bin up here as well. I have a bunch of GPUs, and one of them I do keep around is because I actually flashed it. It's my only flashed video card, Apple video card, that will actually work under Mojave and Catalina right now. So it's the only metal one that's flashed. So I keep that around for emergencies.
And discs, tons of media, discs,
No.
of all types, zip, SideQuest, floppy, CD,
That's
USB.
true. Yep.
Well, I keep spare RAM chips for 128K max, spare RAM chips for 512K max, spare VRAM chips, all of the almost all the video chips for SE30s, sound chips for all the LCs, and they're probably the main ones that I call on the most. They're the ones that I'm sort of just having to grab extra chips for those all the time.
You sound so well prepared, but didn't you run out of your most used capacitor 2 days ago?
Yep.
That doesn't count.
I was just looking in. I was doing some recapping. I looked in the container and went, "Oops! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13 left. Okay, that's 1.5 recaps."
Oopsie.
So you're like, time to
Anyhow,
order
I'm
some
all
more.
stocked up again now.
And I think Steve was running low as well.
I did order more. I think they actually came a little smaller than the size I was supposed to order, but they work fine. But yeah, I ordered, the first pack was 150, and I'm down to 2 of those. So
Jeez.
I mean, it can get pricey if you really want all the spare parts. I mean, not including board repair and stuff like that. It can get pricey because, Steve, your first capacitor purchase was what, $150?
Oh,
You're like,
it's
oh,
like
I need a
it
few
was-
caps.
yeah,
$20, not bad.
yeah, it was
By
like
the time you were
$200
done-
for shipping and tax and everything. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
well, if I'm ordering this, I'll get that. And if it's going to be $10 shipping either way, let me get that. And it was
Yeah.
just,
And it kept adding up.
That's why I spread it out. I mean, I have hope and faith that my machines will last. So I have X amount of months to source a logic board, source a front I/O board, source a power supply. But if I had to get it all in one go, I'd probably spend a small fortune. But, recycle bin rescues, I fix some stuff up myself. You can get all the spare parts you want for cheap or sometimes even free. Just need to keep looking and take your time.
Yep.
Yep.
I agree with that.
And I was going to say we need to hook Scott up, but he seems to be perfectly happy doing what he's doing. I'm driving 5 hours to pick up a 5200 next week. I don't know what a 5200 is, but sounds cool.
I don't think it's
All
worth
right.
5 hours, maybe 2 hours.
So, Steve, if I had one here, you wouldn't waste your time coming, right?
I don't know if you're going to meet me halfway.
Oh, so now it's the halfway thing, yeah.
So I said 5 hours,
Yeah.
2 hours, okay. Yeah.
All right, so I think we've got this one done. All right, so next topic. This is one that Bruce turned us on to, especially everybody that owns an Apple Watch. This is actually a neat little app. Actually, now I'm hoping it'll get better.
Crashology.
I'm hoping it'll get better with the newest Watch OS when it comes out here in a few months. Because with the newest Watch OS, it's supposed to allow for custom watch faces. Hopefully, finally.
Yep.
However, there is an app right now, and I'm gonna let Bruce talk about this.
Yep. So just carrying on with that, I mean, basically one of the complaints about the Apple Watch has regularly been the fact that you've got this very limited number of watch faces, and although people, you might like one of them or whatever, there are people that say, oh no, I want mine to look like this or look like that, and you haven't been able to do it. Now, what this watch app maker did, they created an application called Clockology, and essentially what Clockology is, it's an app that displays a watch face.
Yeah,
there you can see a nice out of focus one there of GTs.
Put your hand behind it.
I am. I've got my hand behind it.
So basically the premise is that it seems like you're looking at a custom watch face, but what you're actually seeing is an app running. And the Clockology app actually comes with a whole bunch of editing tools that allow you to create your own watch faces. You can do things like create your own layers of images with transparencies and stuff, so you can have things on top of each other. You can put in custom, sort of watch hands. You can actually turn images into watch hands. And then you can obviously add, time and date. You can generally put in anything that is core to the watch operating system. So you can put in things like your activity stuff. You can put in your battery levels. You can put in time, date, year, seconds. And you can sort of totally customize how those watch faces appear. Now it has some limitations, specifically that you can't. What do they call those? All those little things. What do they call
Complications.
Complications.
Yeah.
You can't just grab any old complication and put it on there. You have to actually you whatever you put in your watch face has to be sort of part of the Apple system, not a separate complication. You can't just grab, like for instance, and put have it showing your countdown timer or something like that. You can have it show your weather. You can have it show how many steps you've done. But the most important thing is it's improving. I mean, I first loaded it with 1.1, and there were some things I couldn't do, and then I installed 1.2, and all of a sudden those features were there. Now, it's a little bit fiddly to get up and running when you install Clockology initially. You get the app on your phone. You obviously install it on your phone, and then it gets installed onto your watch as well. You need to synchronize it with some form of cloud storage, so Dropbox or sort of iCloud Drive. I've got mine set up with our iCloud Drive, and I've created a directory so that anytime I want to add files, I can just drop them in that directory, and they'll be available to the Clockology app. And once you first get it set up, you then need to download this file, which is fairly readily available, and it's called what was it called? It's called enablebeta.clock.
Yeah.
And if you search around, you'll find that once you have that installed on the app, it will then allow you to synchronize clock faces to the Clockology app, and as I say, and build your own as well. When there's a setting you can do within the watch itself to tell it that if you load an app, to leave that app on the screen indefinitely, don't revert back to the normal watch face. And what that means is that if you then put it onto a Clockology face, you can you can just, it's always there when you lift your watch up. It's a little bit slower to load up than a normal watch face. I mean, normally it just comes up and it's instantaneous, but if you've got a Clockology face loaded, you lift it up, and there might be another second's delay before it actually appears on the screen. But the sorts of things that people are doing with it, they're creating replicas of old Casio watch faces or old Rolex watch faces, or they're just getting all down. Sorry,
they meaning you.
no, me.
Did you finish yours?
Well, yeah, I finished it as far as I can. I'm not happy with the font, but
Well, let's see it.
just
Yeah.
so oh, my one. Oh, okay, yeah. Hang on. It's better to show it on my phone, so just bear with me a second.
Well, that's why I was
Yeah.
showing you on my phone here. This is the one I created that was on my watch.
Yeah. I
And
never realized that your second hand was a TIE fighter.
yeah, those are two. The hour and minute hands are lightsabers,
Lightsaber.
and the second hand is a TIE fighter going around. Uh,
That's
that's just one I whipped up real quick. I mean, it's not that complicated, but like Bruce said, there's not a lot of complications you can actually use to
fancy.
actually do it. Now, here's another issue that Bruce found out about is that he owns a Series 3 watch. The Series 4 and Series 5 actually have more screen real estate that goes closer to the edge of the watch screen, whereas the Series 3 and below have a lot of, I guess, what do you call it? Edge bezel. Yeah.
I love the old digital numbers.
Yeah, it's hard to see. It's blurry.
It's
Pretty
get
cool.
me.
I tried it, and I've had it crash 85 times in 2 minutes, so I'm done.
Well, I'm going to try because now that Bruce just told me about the always on thing, I went to that setting just now and found it, and I'm like, oh, that's why it keeps reverting back to whatever, my original.
Yeah, that
case
one
was.
looks neat, Bruce.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, it's a bit of fun, and the most important thing is people are sharing the watch faces they create. So if you go on, there's a Facebook page called Clockology. If you jump onto there, people as soon as they've created one, they generally sort of show a screen snap of what it looks like, and then they have a download link, and you can download. It's a .clock file. You just put that into your shared media folder, and then it'll appear in the Clockology app, and then you can just synchronize it with your watch. And it's as I say, it's great fun. I mean, I actually think Apple is missing out on a huge opportunity having waited this long, because this thing with all these people creating their replicas of a watch they maybe have always wanted and couldn't afford or something like that, and then they're putting little sort of little complications in with it, so you're ultimately modifying the design slightly to suit the watch and everything. There's some absolutely fantastic stuff there. So
I agree with you.
Yeah, it's just a good fun.
Well, this is something that Apple should have done right off the bat. I mean, the limited watch faces they have, and then every time they come out with a new watch OS update, they come out with maybe 3 or 4 or 5
Who
new
gives a
watch
crap
faces.
about Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, or Toy Story or whatever, the Pixar.
Yeah, it's
thing.
the wrong
Yeah.
age bracket.
Yeah, it's like
I
People
will
who can
have you
afford an Apple
know.
Watch.
I will have you know that my niece demands to see Mickey Mouse on my watch every time I visit.
Then she should buy her own.
yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So, but like I said, I think that Apple should have done this a long time ago and let users customize their watch the way that they want it to look. Because, to be honest with you, everyone's still looking like the same watch on the outside, the hardware wise. But why not have it where you can actually make the watch face yours? Where it's.
I think they were sort of struggling with the watch app store because there were some setbacks where, for a long time, like my thermostat had a watch app and all this stuff, and now it's like very limited. So I would sincerely hope that future iterations of the watch OS makes this stuff
Well, I think
more readily available.
I think a lot of problems with that, Steve, was that Apple restricted a lot of the APIs on the watchOS, and a lot of developers couldn't get around it any way they tried, and so they just gave up finally.
Well, that's like the original iPhone. There was a lot of stuff that was undocumented or that was not supported, and they would not allow you to do that stuff. So hopefully they open that up, because I would love to create these watch faces, or just like find one that some other company makes, like let's say Casio comes out with a collection of them. I'd pay a few dollars for some.
Well,
emulated
here's
watch
another
faces. That'd be
thing:
cool.
is that's a good for the Apple App Store too, because guess what? People can actually build some nice looking, like for instance, Bruce's digital watch one right there. I'm willing to bet you after he gets it finished and everything, I bet you if he put it on the App Store, he could make $1 or $2 off each one. He'd only make 70 cents, of course, because Apple's going to take 30. But
Better
I'll
than
set up my
zero.
own payment system. Don't worry.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, you never know. You could make a few bucks off of it. That's.
I've just put a little link into the chat. It's just a YouTube video, and it's just it's just a series of watch faces that people have made using the Clockology app, and it just shows them. You know, each one comes up on the screen for a few seconds, and it just goes through them. There are actually a whole bunch of videos because there are just hundreds of these faces out there and available now. As I say, most people are just giving them away, just sharing it as part of a community thing. So,
How do you build all that stuff?
With the app,
With the app.
which I have to say, it's a little bit clunky with positioning, I have found, but on the whole, it's a pretty well featured thing. You can just add as many layers as you want, well, as many as I've been able to use, and yeah, I mean, you can do quite a lot with it. It's a lot easier to build your watch face on an iPad, to have the bigger screen and everything like that, but and then you just synchronize it to your watch.
I might have to do that. I might throw it on my iPad and do it there because I've been doing it on my phone and using that little joystick thing that they have, to move stuff around. Like you just said, you got to kind of, and then it'll move slow, and then if you keep
and then move
too fast, you're like, no.
Yeah. They've got to improve that. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it really wouldn't take much for them to improve that interface to make that positioning a whole lot easier. Apparently, when I'm talking, my mouth isn't moving. So,
well, this is Skype doing this. I mean, I don't know what it's doing, but
let's just all talk through our teeth.
So, but yours is the only one that's actually freezing, but you're not freezing on my Skype view here. I'm just getting a lot of
no. As I say, none of you guys are freezing on mine. So for whatever reason, it doesn't like me today.
Yeah. So
there are lots of reasons for that. I can understand.
All right. So anything more on that app, or are we good? Or
I mean, does anyone have any questions about it? Has anyone in the chat used it? I'd just be interested to know. Anyone with an Apple Watch, have they actually used Clockology?
I'm gonna have to check it out.
I think 3 of us in here are the only ones that use it. I think me, you, and Jay so far. And Jay says it keeps crashing on him.
Yeah, Jay doesn't. It doesn't like Jay.
I don't even have a watch. So if anybody has one that I can borrow,
it's time for you to buy a watch. That's what time it is.
Yeah, might be.
All right, guys. So let's go to our next topic of the night. And this one's probably going to take a little while, I assume, because it's pretty good. And we actually had a whole show on this, I think, one time back in 2019. Macs used to be the computer of choice for the design sector. Is that still the case today? In other words, like for instance, let's take some of the YouTube creators. I know iJustine uses it. I know a bunch of other ones still use Mac Pros to do design or to do video editing, or creativity stuff. So the question is, how many actual commercial companies, not just YouTubers, but how many commercial companies out there you think are still using Macs versus a PC?
Well, I also just want to touch on, because I've sort of seen this just from my personal perspective since 2009 to 2018 when I worked at a particular company. They were very hesitant to allow someone to use a non-Windows computer. And it was either down to the software that the IT department had, or however they managed their systems or whatever. And I think that since the iPhone came out, there was such a push of like, okay, well, this iPhone can handle Microsoft Exchange, this iPad can handle this could handle that, that there sort of been a resurgence in the Mac thing, as an option. I certainly know that attitudes have changed a little bit, since Apple has become more popular again, as far as, oh, I need a computer that's not a Windows one. It's sort of more accepted. Whereas I think back in the day, it used to be, well, you could only have that if you required to do it, if the software was only on that, not if you just preferred it. But that was just my personal take on that from what I've noticed.
Well, I just read in the chat here, Scarlett Shortfish, he says as a professional graphic designer, he still uses Mac. So what about you there?
I think most of them do.
I was going to say Dana, because you're a graphic designer, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I've always used them ever from the beginning. I have used them. I've worked for 3 different companies, and they all had, they were all printing companies, and in the pre-press department, they were all Macs. At my dad's company, when I was a kid, all the office computers were Macs except for one PC, I think. And but like where my last job, the only Macs in the building were the pre-press department and the designers, the graphic designers. So, and I had one too at my desk just because I was familiar with that software and stuff like that. But yeah, I think just dealing with customers in the industry and graphic design and related fields, I think the Mac is still very, very prevalent. There are PCs that still that can do it. Back in the day, if you used a PC, you had to pray it was going to work right. But nowadays, I think the software is pretty well advanced. It's come along quite a way. It's all the same software that was around 20 years ago, and it seems to work no matter what platform you're on. So,
I mean, I worked in pre-press for about 15 years, and that started at about, I think I probably started about 1989 or 90, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, there were people using PCs, Windows-based computers for graphic design, but the majority of people were using Macs in that industry. And there was a very simple reason for that at the time, and that was that the Macs did it way better. They had been specializing in that market for longer. The software was better. I mean, if you look at something like Quark Express at the time, which was the page layout application of choice, it wasn't available on Windows. So if you wanted to use the best page layout software available at the time, you had to have a Mac. It wasn't even an option to do it on Windows. The software on Windows was really, really clunky. There was, I think Xerox might have had something that sort of was on the Windows platform. So at the time, it was very much about having the best tools to do the job. But as Dana said before, that's changed now. I mean, you can go out and buy a Windows computer, and you can run all of the same software. So if we're talking about, say, the Creative Cloud Suite, the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, where we're talking about Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, whatever else, for doing that sort of for graphic design and layout, you can get that whole suite on Windows. So in today's market, is it simply a matter of personal preference? Is there any advantage to someone other than it's what they know in actually using Windows in that sector, Macs in that sector?
Mm-hmm.
I think the industry sector, whatever you want to call it, is going to phase out Macs slowly. And I'm saying that because most schools, and that's been going on for the last 5+ years, most schools are ditching Mac. It's just prohibitively expensive, and their IT department can't fix any of it.
And
so
a lot of them are
education,
just switching to tablets too.
Yeah, if all the education is being done on some form of Windows,
it's all Chromebooks now.
The industry eventually is going to change all of it.
Now,
it was always a big argument out here. I know when people would go to school and they would learn computers on Apples or Macs, and people used to always complain. Well, parents and stuff would complain. Why are they learning on this platform when they're going to go out into the workforce and use a Windows machine? When they've got such a huge market dominance with Windows out in the real world, why are we teaching people to use computers on those? Now, it's a different story these days because the world is so kind of web-based now, and there is the experience, I guess, in many environments is the same whether you're on this platform or that platform. You're still going to be browsing the web with a browser of some description. If you're going to be using Microsoft Office, I mean, that's the same on both, apart from you have to use the Command key or the Control key, that sort of thing. So I think now there is a lot of it isn't that big chasm between sort of functionality with those two. So I'm just not sure that there would be any reason why any sector would specifically say, we use Macs because they're better for this task.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thought on that too, because we just mentioned it, and Jay just said that it's prohibitively expensive for Macs. Now, that's the downside of Macs in the short term. However, if you think about a PC, for instance, I used to work as a government contractor, and we had Dells, of course. That was the government buying the lowest priced item they could get, and Dells were the worst.
They still
Yeah, they
do.
still do. So every 2 years, or every year to 2 years, we would get a new laptop because the old one would not run all the software that they want to keep updating to. So by the time after 5 years or 6 years, they have spent already enough that they could have had one Mac that would still be running and still be working good, up until then. So because, for instance, I'm doing a little project right now. I'm taking an iMac, 2009 iMac, and I'm putting every operating system that it was designed to use. That's 7 operating systems. Okay, from the time it came out to the time they basically stopped supporting it with the operating system. So that's 7 years at least. I think some of them went like almost 2 years between updates, but still, if you think about an update a year, that's 7 years of operating system supports, and then even after that, you got about 2 years of support for that operating system. So that's about 9 years total on a machine. Whereas a PC, you're only getting 2 years out of it before it breaks down or whatnot, and you have to toss it. But again, it's like Jay said, it's lazy IT departments. They don't want to deal with the Mac when, to be honest with you, the Mac is.
Well, not because they're lazy, but in a school, a very small part of the budget goes to IT.
Yeah.
As much as they need IT, it's usually the lowest budget in the entire organization. And what are you going to do if you have a Chromebook that needs a new battery? You just plop one in. If you need a new battery for a 12-inch MacBook or a Retina MacBook Pro, you need to buy a whole new top case or do all this convoluted stuff to put a new battery in the existing top case. They don't have money for that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I was about to land a new client. It's a school 10 yards down the road. And we were all set up. I was going to handle their repairs for them, stuff that the in-house IT wasn't going to be able to do or didn't have time for, was going to come to me. And they're like, sorry, dude, we're switching to Chromebooks. This is just not worth it to us anymore. And we're talking thousands of MacBook Pros.
That's
MacBook
what they're all
Airs,
doing now. All the kids are getting Chromebooks.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we were talking
that's
about
another
before,
topic that I don't want to go down.
I mean, everything's browser based. I think the availability of software right now for the Mac is probably, because of things like the App Store, is probably more prevalent than it ever was, because you get a developer that wants to have their software available on Windows and Mac, where maybe 15, 20 years ago, I know for a fact, looking for software or alternative software for something I need to do specifically, oh, this doesn't have drivers, oh, this isn't supported, this isn't that. And I think that really started to happen around the time of the iPhone, and then the Intel switch didn't hurt things either. But I think that was a huge selling point, because everyone was taking the Mac more seriously now. Now, I don't know what the future is going to be for that, but I don't blame these institutions who, let's say they have to buy one device per child, and they're not going to spend $1,500 on a laptop. They're going to spend $400 on an iPad or a tablet or whatever. And when that breaks, they have a warranty on it through their insurance program, and they just replace the darn thing, and it's all provisioned and everything, and it downloads all the updates, and they had exactly the way that they did when they broke the darn thing. When I went to school, we had a bunch of Apple IIs in middle school, and they were old then, obviously. But we had PCs in like one of these business courses and these typing courses. So we were, experiencing PCs. Some of the teachers had Macs. So it was like we sort of, most of the classes were PC based, but like you could, learn other things. Then in high school, only the art school areas had Macs, and the rest of the school had gateways or whatever it was. But it wasn't really the concern of, oh, they're going to only learn one system. It was, well, the graphic arts department prefer to use these systems because they need to do this or that or whatever. And the Windows machines, yeah, I guess at that time they could technically do the work, but it was just so much more common for them, the individual, to be using a Mac for that purpose, if that
Yeah.
was a profession you were going to go into.
And it's not just the hardware. I mean, I've been going off of hardware, but software is a big obstacle as well, in both schools and industry. All comes down to the department. And if you have a lot of machines on a campus or in a building or whatever, and you need to do mass updates, it used to be easy. If a system got corrupted, you could deploy a brand new operating system in 2 minutes, depending on your network. Now it's all locked down with mobile device management. For schools, you used to have something called deep freeze. As soon as the student logged out, the system would just reset back to what it was, and that was it. That's being crippled by Apple as well, and it's not fun anymore being it was never fun being IT in a school, but now it's even worse. And time is money, and the budget is so small, and it's just all going to hell. And I think the more and more people are working on Linux, Chromebooks, PC, browser-based stuff, the more people are going to say, and the industry is going to follow, like, yeah, $2,000 on a MacBook Pro, or, easy choice.
Yeah.
There was just very quickly, there was an article I was reading where this science teacher literally had zero budget for computers. So basically, he asked all the parents for $40. They bought little Raspberry Pis. They rescued a bunch of CRT 14-inch computer monitors or television sets, I believe they were, from old classrooms, because the Raspberry Pi has a composite output. And he taught programming classes. And the parents were like, this is great, because our kids are learning stuff that, is going to have these real, world, uses. And the cost was so minimal. And you could just use spare parts or have them lying around, and you're teaching kids how to build something.
That's true.
So, I mean, I think that was great. Obviously, it's not the best for all applications, but, there's some pretty cheap stuff that you can go with these days. It doesn't have to be a Windows or a Mac,
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, but to be honest with you, a Chromebook is probably not the way to go. It might be the cheapest route.
No.
However, if you value your privacy, you do not use a Chromebook.
Chrome anything.
Yeah, Chrome anything. You got that right. That's
Google anything.
Chrome does not live on my computer here.
Well, you don't have enough memory for that
That's
anyway.
true.
I saw a meme the other day that made me laugh, and it was a scene from the first Avengers movie where Hulk and Thor are fighting in the carrier bay there, and Thor throws his hammer and it lands, and Hulk's on his back, and he tries to pick it up, and there's like this freeze frame of him looking at it in confusion, and on him it says 16 gigabytes of RAM, and on the hammer it says
Chrome.
2 tabs open in Chrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brock is right.
It's
Google,
9:30.
yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Yeah.
You didn't just catch up on the chat.
No, I'm just chilling.
So I guess we could go. Did you have some? What were they smoking there?
I have 2 here from Discord. The first one, well, actually they're both from Logan, Crazy Tech Reviews. So let
These will
me
be good.
copy this link here.
Yeah, I don't have a.
Yeah, he's found some good
I don't
ones.
have a overlay for that, so that's all right.
That's fine. I'm just going to put it in chat here. Here's the first one. So we have a vintage. Where's the title?
Antique.
Vintage antique. That's what it was.
Don't tell me that's Jonathan
Apple
Goldman.
computer.
What is it?
No. This is who is this? I don't think.
Come
it
on,
is.
it's not Jonathan Goldman,
It's not
is
big
it?
enough.
No.
No, this one is
No,
not.
Goldman would charge more.
$1,000 for an as-is 2CI, looks like. 2CX, okay. So I guarantee you that something on it doesn't work, either the logic board or the power supply or both.
Well,
Yes, the whoever is going to buy that, I see recapping in their future.
Oh, yes.
hey, Bruce.
Pain and
And Bruce
frustration.
offers a service. Hey.
And he does have a
Hey,
video
actually, I
card
do
in there.
have a slide for that. That is this one right here, and it's called the Shameless Self-Promotion. See?
Yeah.
It does have, it has a network card and a video card. And
Yeah.
It looks like an old Connor hard drive.
Very old,
Yep.
yeah. And then the other one that he found is a Goldman.
That's a good one.
Oh, it's a Goldman one?
Yeah.
That's just
Oh, you know it's
Every
gonna
once
be
in a while,
ridiculous.
we have to post a Goldman. You know, every once in a while, because they're just so outrageous.
I mean, that
This
dude
one's
just
just,
make the entire what were they smoking for the year. We'd be set.
Oh,
So we have the
What?
graphite Apple Studio Display 15. These were the first LCDs that Apple came out with. $400, although he doesn't know how to use a
it's
period.
monitor
apparently.
vintage. It's
Plus
vintage
think
the
rare.
150 shipping.
It's vintage rare. So it's actually about $550 total.
well,
Yeah.
it's being converted to European.
Yes, yes. So that's obviously the shipping price to get it into Europe. So probably
God.
cheaper if you're buying it in the States. But yeah,
No, the 150 is US shipping.
Yeah, it says approximately
Yes, but
that much euros.
but it's doing the
150
conversion
US.
there.
or
So that means you're not in the
338.48
US.
euros.
No, he's in the U.S.
Yeah,
though, so that's.
but that's
He's in Steve's area there.
okay.
Yeah, so the seller is, but I'm saying that with the screenshot was likely taken
By
since
someone
it's
in
mentioned Europe. Yeah, that's why the shipping
gotcha.
cost
So
is
he's
expensive.
what we're seeing is the cost to get it shipped to the person who is looking at this ad, who is obviously in Europe somewhere.
Mm.
Is that a screen?
So I'm sure it wouldn't be that same cost to
Okay,
ship
that's
it.
a screen grab. I'm sitting there like, why am I not able to click on it? I did the old. I'm trying to click on something and.
I saw my video blink now. Jeez, what's going on?
Yeah, that one's just a PNG file.
Okay.
Having said that, looking at that price, $400, I can see these going for pretty close to that out here. And as I've said to you before, we pay more for everything out here, and I could definitely see that. So Goldman charges Australian prices, basically.
I like my LCD better. I put an LCD inside that one.
Ooh.
Do a video.
Did you finally?
Yeah,
Does it work?
Nice.
looks better.
Do a
Yeah,
video.
it works. I
Very
still have
good.
to rig all the cabling and the buttons up.
Where's the video?
Uh,
Why am I?
Under
Why am I
construction.
paying you Patreon?
Yeah, I'm on the same schedule as Dana now, so when he does stuff,
But I'm not.
Oh,
But I'm not.
wait,
I'm not paying him Patreon right now. I'm paying you Patreon.
Maybe you should start paying him so he does stuff.
Maybe I should stop paying you.
Maybe.
$1 million.
By the way, I don't have Patreon anymore, so I don't know who
Oh,
you're
I'm
paying.
paying
Yeah, I was about to
PayPal.
say.
Okay.
So,
Oh, boy.
guys, I think that's about wraps it up for tonight. Any shameless self promotion we want to do while we're at it right now?
I'm recapping tomorrow.
Oh, I'm not.
For a change.
So,
Steve's like, I give up.
I got a
Go
few
boss.
product reviews I need to do. I might do that this weekend. It's going to be nice weather though, so I might just work in the yard.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
like I said, I'm finishing up putting 7 different operating systems on one computer just to say I did it, and it's working out pretty good so far. I've got, I think, 5 on it right now. I got 2 more to go, and we'll see. But I'm taking Jay's suggestion. Every one I put on, put a fresh copy on. I'm doing a image of that disc. So basically, all I got to do is restore the disc, and there it is.
Saves a lot of time. Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing right now.
Excellent.
Steve is going to stream right after Mac Yak, right,
No.
Steve?
Nah, not. I don't know if he's good.
Steve's gonna go to the storm cellar.
I was gonna
think,
say.
after I saw that radar picture.
Yeah,
But you guys should see this radar
if I
picture
still
he sent.
exist. I'm gonna hold on to some Emacs so I don't float away.
That'll do it.
You just need one.
Especially
Yeah.
he starts looking down at his feet and he's like, "Wait, where's this water coming from?" No, my Macs.
It's just an Emac.
Forget the bunnies. Grab the Mac.
Bunnies can fend for themselves.
Yeah, they could swim.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I think that is about it for the night. So if you guys want to check us out, we do have a Discord server. I do have the link up there now, and if you want to come join us, just come up on that. Just type that link in. It's also in the description in this video, so just go ahead and click on that link, and you could come on over and chat with us. We still do have our 1,000 subscriber giveaway going. go to episode 69, watch that, and you'll figure out how to enter it. You have to watch the video. That's all I'm going to say. Psst, done. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you like. We only got 17 likes, but 31 viewers right now. So where are those thumbs ups?
There's 18.
Yeah.
Hey.
Smash that like.
Smash that like button. But make sure you tell your friends about us. Share this on your social media. Let's get the word out there, guys. Let's get to 1,000 before. I want to try to get there before Thanksgiving. That's my goal.
For the weekend.
Jay's got unrealistic goals. Sorry.
That's the only ones worth having.
Also, make sure you go to appleserialnumber.info and vote for that G4.
Vote for the 512K.
For the iMac.
How are we doing, by the way? Let me check.
It's rigged. It's
Ah,
rigged.
man. It's not good. Not good.
So, guys, go vote for the G4.
And I'm going to be
What?
plugging it this week in my live streams.
What's it up
Nobody's
to
going to
now?
be watching.
40% versus 37%.
Oh, so it's a whole 10% difference.
It's still fairly close.
I haven't voted yet, so I need to go vote. So
What you waiting for?
I'm waiting to go see which way the winds are blowing.
Hurry up,
It just jumped. 41 to 37.
What?
Ooh.
Oh, wait, that's wrong. You guys, oh man, come on.
I've already voted, so I can't.
Ah.
I can't do it again.
We're actually, I think, let me just.
How we
look through
doing?
here.
Uh-oh, look, Bruce is going to go in and try to
Oh,
vote.
yep. 41. Thank you. Whoever did that. Thank you.
It's a fierce contest.
Fierce.
It really is.
And the Macintosh Portable is just in a sad stalemate with the 24-inch iMac.
It doesn't stand a chance.
There's been quite a few votes this month.
I might have to vote for the underdog just to vote for it, you know.
Just a waste
That's
your
right.
vote.
Yeah. What a waste.
But anyways, guys, appreciate you guys coming out to watch us tonight. Like I said, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon. We only do this once a week, so you're only going to get that notification once a week. If you get a notification. Sometimes that doesn't work. So.
Yeah. And by the way, Bruce is waving, but nobody can see it, so just take one.
All right, guys. So,
you still hear?
yeah. All right, guys.
Oh, wait, we all froze.
No, we're still all there, but
Let's just end
yep. Let's go ahead and say bye, guys, and we'll see you guys
It's getting any
next
better.
week. Hopefully, Skype will act right next week. Catch you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.